just saw on that screen. So, couple. So I'm going to bring out our panel right now, and you're going to show them a ton of love. First, we've got executive producer Andrew Kreisberg. Executive producer Marc Guggenheim. Mr. Paul Blackthorne. John Barrowman. Stephen Amell. Colton Haynes. David Ramsey and his giant arms. And executive producer Greg Berlanti. All right. First off, let's give these guys a round of applause for last season. Before we get to any other questions about anything, I just need to throw this out. Was that Felicity bloody on a slab? What have you done?
She got a little boo-boo.
It's just a paper cut. Emily could not make it today. She's filming. So don't read into the bloody slab scene. All right, so where to begin? You guys have given out so much information before this panel already. We've seen guest cast. We've seen great leather outfits with like only one other person could pull off. So congratulating you. Do you guys find yourselves, for the producers, when you started with season 2, did you find yourselves kind of altering any storylines, or was this whole season designed from the beginning?
Season 2?
Yeah.
Truthfully, in the beginning of season 2, we were sort of terrified. It was actually the hardest thing I've ever had to write because, we'd had so much great success in season 1. We were just all terrified that we were gonna be one of those shows that was like, oh yeah, they had a great first year and then, fizzled out. So there was we had a lot of pressure on ourselves but so many of the things we did were, again, things that we had discussed from the pilot. I mean, when we made the pilot, 2 of our biggest ideas was that Sarah wasn't dead and that at the end of season 2, Oliver would wake up in Hong Kong. And, those were 2 things that we managed to get to in season 2 that were things that we just discussed casually amongst Greg, Marc, and myself. So it was really exciting to have had enough success to be able to get to that stuff.
What about getting John back? Was that like just a wish list thing?
It's funny because, as you can see, I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and I knew John would understand because it's kind of happened with Captain Jack that he was on and we said, so you have to go away for a little bit so you can come back again even better. And John's like, yeah, I understand that. I've done that once before. I'm happy to do it again, thank God. And we were always planning leading up to John being a regular in season 3.
Marc, you showed me something backstage that you guys already have season 3 mapped out.
Yeah, actually we have a huge set of cork boards. Here, I'll show it to you. Yeah, I'll show it.
So this is going to be all the spoilers you're going to get this season. So
yeah, basically it's just the whole season. As soon as my phone quiets, I'll show you. Yeah, basically, that's it.
See, there it is.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw shower scene on one of those cards, right? What? Shower scene?
I have no comment on that.
Yeah, okay.
Did you say shower scene?
Yes.
There are a few.
You guys need a second? Do you guys need a second?
Yes.
All right, so you have season 3 mapped out. You killed us with that finale, but you also ended on a happy ending. Team Arrow was in a good place. I'm guessing from that trailer that does not stay that way for long.
No, I mean, we thought that with, after ending season 1 on such a dour note with Tommy dying and the city in flames, that what could we do that would surprise people in season 2? And we thought the thing we could do that would really shock people was to give them a happy ending. But of season 3 is about, you know, what price victory, and you know, at the beginning of the season, everyone is sort of enjoying the peace that they have found, and as Mark always says, everything's coming up arrow, and you know, as Joss Whedon has always said, you know, the minute you give one of your characters happiness, you have to yank it away from them.
And you realize that there are now like 47,000 tumblers that have Oliver Queen gets a happy ending. So, and clearly, I'm trying to out there.
It wasn't caused by Malcolm Merlyn either.
So, one of the big things everyone wants to talk about is this first date. We'll get to that in a second. Stephen, season 3 is Ollie, you know, completely embracing his hero side. And in a way, you have been the hero of this show. You have stepped forward with social media and reaching out to the fans and really just being like so accessible. I feel like in the same way that Ollie has not failed his city, you have not failed this show.
Oh.
For this show as Ollie feels for Starling City?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's if anything, you know, there were points in the first couple of seasons where maybe it was a little bit more important to me than it should have been. And you know, but look, I waited my entire life for an opportunity like this, and to see the way that the fans have reacted. I remember sitting in this hall, or in this ball, where are we? Are we in a hall or a ballroom? Thank you. I remember sitting in this ballroom and making a promise to the people that were here that we were going to work really hard and that the show wasn't going to suck. And that, I mean, that's... It sounds simple, but that's what drives us every day.
Mission accomplished!
Hell yeah!
Well, I have to say, I mean, you know, it's very clear that a lot of the marketing, a lot of the stuff is, yeah, you've got an okay body. Community cast. No. But I have to say, this was probably some of your strongest dramatic work ever. The stuff you did this season, especially with Moira in her press conference and following her death was, this was like next level, Stephen.
Thank you.
Were you like working with these guys to say like, let's take this guy to a deeper level?
No, I don't write the show. I let those guys write the show. But I mean, for me, we talk season by season, but I always think of it like we are shooting our 48th episode right now, and we're always trying to make 48 better than 47, and 47 better than 46. And there were a couple of scenes in season 2. That press conference scene, there was I thought, a wonderful scene in the hallway between Laurel and I, and all the dramatic stuff surrounding Moira's death. I crave those opportunities, and I was really grateful. So when they present themselves, I try to be ready.
Nice. And Colton Haynes. You always have to build Colton and Willa, you guys had some amazing stuff, especially at the end of the season this year. Really touching right before, you know, you went to the dark side, Willa. These guys, were you guys like just chomping at the bit to get these two together and like had these great emotional scenes?
I mean, we kind of hit it off from the beginning, right? Our first day, my first day on the show, I got to work with Willa, and we had this really, really fun.
It was one of our first scenes was actually our kiss scene, which was pretty hilarious. It was one of my favorite things that we got to shoot together. And hey guys, come on, okay, cool.
They actually told us to do mouth to mouth.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite stories to tell, actually.
I'm bad at telling the story, but
our first kiss scene, our director asked us to do more kissy. That's the way he worded it. And then so Colton and I were just like, okay. And he's like, wait, no, can you just do like more mouth to like
mouth
your
to
mouths,
mouth, is what he
better
said.
mouths.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed his nose and just grabbed it straight. I thought that was kind of like what he asked for. He asked for mouth to mouth. So
She has amazing breath, so
it's great.
it brought me to life.
And so Willa is daughter like father? Have we found out yet?
I mean, I was just having this conversation. Thea is going through something pretty crazy right now, and all I can say is that I have been hitting the gym a little bit. I think that's like really the only thing I'm allowed to be hinting towards, because I mean these gums are just so amazing.
And how has it been taking her from like druggy prep school dropout to supervillain love child?
She's definitely made a big change, I'll say that. There's no more vertigo dancing around on tabletops for Thea. I think she's gonna be not necessarily a good put-together girl, but a different girl. Definitely a different girl. The Thea that you guys saw season 1 and season 2 is not the girl that's coming back in season 3.
Did you keep the pants from the finale? Did you keep those leggings from the finale?
Of course I did, and that trench coat, are you kidding me? This thing was amazing.
All right, so David, fatherhood. Coming in a day.
Daddy Diggle.
Hashtag Daddy Diggle.
How is fatherhood going to change not just the man, but also his place on Team Arrow? It looks like somebody doesn't want him on the front lines anymore.
It's a very, very good question. A lot of dramatic tension. Because, yeah, he's a child and the stakes get higher. Does he stay with the team? Does he leave?
The scene that you guys saw in the preview where David is yelling at me and whipping his massive arms, it was almost impossible not to flinch.
So no, it's just a great. I mean, it was just a great story point to make Diggle a father. I think the stakes have gotten a lot higher.
All right, so Elicity is a situation that we're going to talk to in a little bit later. So, John, you're back. First, I need to ask your co-stars, what is the raunchiest thing he has done on set so far?
If you say anything, I'll kill you all.
So it must have been good. What do you know about what Mr. Merlyn is up to now?
Well, I was actually just saying to Andrew as we were talking, and he said, you know, have you read the scripts? And I literally just flew in yesterday from London, and I finished, which I must say, the producers have been really, really wonderful in allowing me to finish the stuff up that I've had to do in the UK, plus a couple of things I have to go that were pre-contractual. So thank you very much. But I have yet to read what I'm about to do. So I'm sitting here not knowing like you're knowing, and these guys are saying, have you just seen this? Have you seen this? And I'm like, no, shut up. I don't want to know, because tonight I'm going to be in my hotel room going, no way! Are you kidding? Can't wait. I really can't wait, and that's part of the excitement about episodic television for me, is almost not knowing what you're going to do until that script comes out. Because then it's that's the thrill of doing it, is trying to figure out how you do it, but also how you make it really believable for you guys. And also it just makes it much more fun because it's more spontaneous that way.
All right. Paul?
Hello, sir.
I'm assuming he survived. Whatever the chest pains, was it just gas?
It was a dodgy takeaway that night. Yeah, that was definitely an issue. Those chest pains, well, they brought me down, didn't they? But I appear to be on this panel, so I don't know. What do you think?
And we have to talk afterwards.
The only problem with that is all my hair fell out as a result of this heart situation.
Well, now you're covering it with, it looks like a captain's hat.
It does look like a captain's hat.
This man has had the craziest police career.
I know, it's been up 3 years.
That shot was very heroic in that clip.
I directed it myself.
Can you tell us anything about what he's doing?
Sorry?
Can you tell us anything about what he's doing?
Well, he's standing there with a cane and a lovely hat.
By the way, Paul, you can stop with your British accent now.
Can I go back to how I normally talk now? No, I'm carrying on with the British accent.
Paul, Quentin's kind of become like the Commissioner Gordon of Starling City.
Well, you said it, not me.
Any chance of us seeing him, this is for the producers, working with the CSIs of Central City?
With the what?
The CSI team of Central City.
Well, that is an interesting question. I'd like to direct that to our producers on the right-hand side. That'd be a nice place to go to, right?
Well, we previously announced that episode 108 of The Flash and 308 of Arrow are going to be a 2-hour crossover event.
I don't think they want this to happen.
No. So we'll be seeing people from both shows crossing over. So it's everyone will get a little taste of each other. That sounded. Have you met John Barrowman? I met John Barrowman. Yeah.
That's 2 hours on TV.
Yeah, but that's one of the fun things, and Greg always talks about, that, when we were kids, that, the $6 Million Man, A Bionic Woman, when those shows would cross over, or, when you see, Oscar Golden, go back and forth, it reminded you that there was sort of reality to it, and that, and these spin-offs, they're not existing in different worlds, and things that happen in Starling City affect Central City and vice versa, and it's really exciting to us.
That's awesome.
It is exciting.
Yeah, that's totally awesome.
Do you guys have anybody, for the actors on the panel, do you have anybody who's going to be on The Flash that you want to work with?
I want to work with Jesse Martin. I like Jesse Martin.
I want to work with Airy Buddy.
Not Robbie Amell?
Oh yeah, and Robbie Amell.
Can't believe
I want to do a sandwich scene with the both of them, so I'll string both of you up. How's that? Yeah.
So I have to ask about this because we know it, I think in episode 3, Felicity's gonna do a visit?
Episode 104 of The Flash, Felicity is going to show up in Central City.
So this is where we get into some of the juicy stuff. So Oliver has Laurel, Sarah, Felicity, Isabel at one point, probably Amanda when they're in Hong Kong.
And Diggle.
Ready. Felicity has Barry and Oliver.
And
These people are very busy. How are you keeping all of these couples straight? And Stephen, who do you think Oliver actually...
No way.
Come on.
No.
Smart man.
Let's talk about the guest stars you guys have lined up. Is Starling City big enough for all the people you're bringing in?
yeah, I mean, one of the things we talked about a lot is, season 3, is typically when shows bring on, some game-changing cast members. Greg, when he was doing Everwood, brought on Scott Wolf, and if you're fans of Buffy, that 3rd season when they brought Faith on, it really, it's one of those things that once you get season 3, when you see the cast, like you sort of can't imagine what those first 2 seasons were like without them. So, we were very conscious of making those additions this year, and we, when we actually first sat down with DC, we'd asked if we could bring Ted Cord on, and they had other plans for him. And then they said, well, how about Ray Palmer? And we're like, that's better. And when we originally pitched it, we sort of said that, we want to bring on somebody who's a lighter hero, somebody who's a little bit more fun and, a little bit Superman. And so we got Superman.
Are you guys gonna have any fun? Is anyone gonna point out that he kind of looks like Superman?
No.
And he's also got his eye on Felicity.
You gotta do the love triangle. You gotta do it.
It's like she's the only flavor in town. She is the best. So now let's talk about Elicity. This has been long in the making. This is a thing. Let's talk about it. What can you tell us about this situation?
I'm really excited about their date. This is a really big spoiler. They go for Italian. Sure. Everyone likes Italian.
They eat dinner.
Seriously, it's go ahead.
We've said this before, but they, we weren't trying to fake anybody out with their confessions, or Oliver's confession to her at the end of the year last year. Sure. And so we'll deal with that directly this year. Their feelings for each other, which I always believe have been genuine.
Stephen, what is it like now? The dynamic has to shift a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's not like there hasn't been sexual tension between the two characters. This year they just go out on a date. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens I can't say anything.
All right, then let's just say, how does the date go?
Horribly.
All right. Also, a dynamic that's been changing is the Oliver-Roy situation. They are now full-on sidekicking it. How is it been being like the Jedi Master to Mr. Cheekbones here?
How's it been, Stephen?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, it's really cool having the second nicest suit on the show now.
The suit's pretty badass, though. It is. You guys?
No, it's the dynamic between Oliver and Roy brings out parts of the Oliver Queen character and a lot of the smarter, more sarcastic, more humorous elements of the classic Oliver Queen character that we are building towards. And I think that the Oliver Roy dynamic allows me to play a lot of those things. But they're unresolved issues for Roy leading back to last season. So again, however good they are right now, I'm sure they'll get bad really fast.
I'm imagining the Merlyn-Thea situation is going to be a problem for the two of them.
I think that, again, not knowing what's going to happen and, being excited about that, I think the element also is that there's going to be a lot of controlling, and I think that Malcolm is going to want to see how much he can gain control, or, he's always been able to control people with finance, with doing damage to them by hurting them with the violence, but he's never been able to control emotions in a sense, and that's really, with Tommy, when he, fell in love and became the hero, when he died, he had no control over that, so he lost his son. So I think he's going to go for the emotional side to control Thea and see how that works. That's what I think. That's not what I've read yet, but I don't know. But that's kind of the thing that I'm thinking. And then who knows what will happen between these two and maybe these two, how it plays out. But I'm looking, for me as John, as the fan, as the guy that has the DC encyclopedia lying next to his bedside table. Seriously, I'm really looking forward to the conflict, and also a bit of fun, because Malcolm isn't he's a bad guy, but he's also a smart guy, and he's got a sense of humor, and it's great also that Ollie's that side has come up with Colton and all that kind of stuff happening. So.
I kind of want to see them become like the Boris and Natasha of Starling City. They're always plotting in their trench coats. For the entire panel, who does the best Oliver as Arrow voice impersonation? Oh. Who does it?
Who does? Stephen.
I don't know who does. You don't do it?
Emily, actually.
Emily probably does.
All right, let's talk about the situation that we're going into. You throw us a curve at the end with the Hong Kong twist. And you had been planting kind of hints throughout the first two seasons that he didn't spend his entire time on that island. Is it safe to say that we will not be seeing a lot of island flashbacks going forward?
Well, not necessarily, because when the show began, he was on the island. So, but for this year, we didn't want it to be a, oh geez, a new set of bad guys showed up on the island again this year. How fortunate for our storytelling. But we'd always had this plan, and if you watch season 1 and season 2, even back in season 1, I think it's in 111, Oliver says, I got a message from my father, and Dig says, how did you get a message from your dad if you were on the island for 5 years? And Oliver just ignores it. So, there are things that we've been planting, on success that, we're finally going to pay off this year, but it's a whole new opportunity to put in new characters, and then there's characters that we've seen previously on the show that will appear in the flashbacks, and the other great opportunity it's given us is I don't know if you all know, but Colin Donnell is going to appear in the second episode of the season. Back as Tommy Merlyn, and we're going to tell the story of how a heretofore unknown encounter between Oliver and Tommy that once you see it will make sense, and it's not a retcon, I promise. It's just a whole new world, and we've added all these new characters, and that's where Oliver will meet Katana, who we're introducing this year, played by Devon Aoki, and Carl Yoon, who's joining the cast as Maseo, and we'll see, obviously, we hinted that Oliver had a longer association with Amanda Waller, and we'll see how that came about. And I don't know, it's just a whole new world, and it's just really exciting. And I know Stephen is happy not to go back to the GBRD, where we...
That's the horrible forest in Vancouver where we shoot the island scenes. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, it's cold and rainy and wet and islandy.
Paul, how is the Lance family doing?
Oh, they're always doing fine.
Really?
Yeah, they're fine. There's a few wrinkles here and there, but they soldier on, they get on with it. As long as somebody's, running around at night trying to save the city, they're fine.
Does he find himself kind of like, oh, my entire family is some kind of superhero? I love this.
Say that again?
Does he get to the point where he's like, half of my family is a superhero?
I'm kind of losing track of what my daughters are up to at night, I have to say. And by day. But yeah, it's always, Lance has a terrible time loving his daughters with the things that they're doing, but, he can't help himself. They're good girls. He brought them up well.
Willa, I know that when we come back, people think that Thea is backpacking through Europe. She is obviously not.
No.
I'm not going to ask you what she is doing.
I'm not allowed to tell you what she's doing.
But can you at least tell us how soon it will be before we see Thea and Roy back together, even in...
Thea and Roy back together.
In a scene.
In a scene?
Yes.
I don't know.
Well...
No comment. No comment.
Has she made...
It's going to be worth the wait, I promise.
Has she made any new friends in her absence?
I think
no comment?
one thing we can say is that when you saw her enter the limo with Malcolm at the end of season 2, we're going to basically flash back to that moment and play the rest of that scene out. So you're going to find out what he said to her and what she said to him.
Mm-hmm. And then also, I did become friends with a pair of scissors, so...
So we have a whole scissors episode, actually.
Thea's haircut, very special episode.
For saving money.
Yes, heck yes. Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
David, the fatherhood thing, the parenthood thing that Dig is going to be walking into, if it does cause problems with him and Team Arrow, he does have kind of like a side gig with some other people who aren't so awesome, but very powerful and super powered kind of. Do you see him going to kind of be like, well, screw this, I'm going to go with...
Yeah, forget it. I would just become part of the Suicide Squad. No. That's a great story. Suicide Squad's a fantastic story. Mike Rowe, Deadshot, forget about it. It's just been really, really good the way the audience has really responded to that. But I don't know. I think Diggle's heart is here. He's just as invested, I think, in this crusade as Oliver is. And you see some of that played out. That actually one of the scenes that they showed in the trailer was that fight between me and Oliver. A big part of that is about how Diggle feels about his commitment to the city and this crusade. So no, I don't think there's any chance of him deliberately leaving the team, but you never know.
All right, it's getting awfully crowded down in Oliver's lair. More and more people. Is his identity the worst kept secret in Starling City?
You know, for us, the whole Clark, you just missed Superman. He was just right here. You know, where were you? Is the least interesting aspect of all of these superhero stories. So, you know, and for us, every time we made the decision collectively that like it was time for somebody to find out, whether it was Tommy or Laurel or Felicity, all of a sudden the show got a million times easier to write and a lot more interesting to us. And so we've never felt like, you know, Oliver's secret identity. I feel like there are other shows that have sort of trafficked in that, and that's been fine for them. But you know, for us, it's much more interesting when people know and they can have conversations. I mean, certainly this season, you know, Katie Cassidy's character and Laurel and Oliver's relationship and the you know, Laurel's journey this season, which I think everybody's going to be really excited about. You know, is far more interesting that they can have realistic conversations about everything without, you know, having to hide so much.
For the producers also, do you have any plans to pair some unlikely couplings together, just even for like action or situations like a Roy Felicity thing, or you know, like an Olive, you know, like an Olive.
Lance needs a lover. Okay? That's all I want to say.
Bring it up at the signing. Would you consider something like that, like a Thea Nissa situation?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times putting Thea and Malcolm together is certainly, you know, something that we weren't necessarily planning on from the very beginning, and that's been really interesting. And for us, you know, sometimes there's those scenes like last year when, you know, when Roy, Seeing Red, when Roy was out there, you know, unhinged, and Dig got to have these scenes with Thea. I mean, those were some of our most fun scenes to write, and I think you guys really, you know, play the hell out of them, you know, because that's a coupling that you don't normally see. So as writers, we're always looking to pair people who don't normally go together.
All right, so going down the panel, from the actors from Paul down, I want you to give us your favorite scene of the person next to you.
Ooh, that's good.
So does Greg have to give his favorite David performance?
Oh, start holding.
Which side next to him?
You start, yeah, down.
So my favourite scene of Barrowman. I always fast forward when it gets to Barrowman. There's no way I can pin down one particular scene that this guy does, but I do have my favourite moments of when you're filming with him. And he has his, there's one in season 1, I think, it was this particularly dark, sinister moment, ominous, peculiar, going on between us, a glance, a peculiar moment, dark. And then it's a cut, and then he walks back around the corner and he goes, "Hi!" Those moments definitely stick in your brain.
Show me exactly what I did. Willa, okay. I can be selfish and say the scene which I really loved, and the railway carriage for us.
When I shot you?
Yes.
Yep.
That was nice.
I am going to be selfish, and I am going to say that. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff that she's done. The stuff that when the city was about to collapse because of the earthquake machine, you know, that she had with Roy and stuff like that. I think that relationship for me is quite good. So there's not really one particular that I would say. It's kind of, again, I think, you know, Willa herself is great in those scenes when it's got some passion and intimacy behind it. So yeah, that's my baby girl.
Well, okay, this is actually really difficult because Stephen's in basically every scene. How do I pick a favorite one?
No pressure.
Yeah, seriously. Okay. The first thing that, when you asked that question, the first thing that popped in my mind was, again, selfishly a scene that I was in with Stephen, but it was just, it's actually the first scene, one of the first scenes that we have together, this first or second episode. where he talks about how the Kardashians get more airtime than he does right now. And it's just the delivery on that. I will never forget that. I remember shooting that scene oh so well, and I don't think I'll ever forget it.
I did not think that's where you were going.
There's so many places I could have gone, but that's where I went.
I thought that Colton, obviously it was a scene between Colton and Willa, but I thought you were phenomenal in this. The last scene between you and Willa in the finale last year, I thought that the both of you, there's so much stuff going on in that episode, and then we get this 2-3 minute respite in this wonderful emotional moment between two characters. I thought that it was like graduation for Roy. I really liked it, okay?
Thank you, Stephen. Well, that was really nice. Thank you. I'm starting crying. Well, where do I start with this guy? So, actually, you kind of mentioned earlier that Diggle had a scene in the trailer where he's kind of frustrated because, you know, with having Roy and Team Arrow kind of come together, it's kind of hard to for Oliver to delegate what people are supposed to do and, you know, who can do what, and I think that Diggle gets a little frustrated, and we got to film a really, really cool scene where basically he was saying, what am I supposed to do? I've been here since the beginning. It was a really, really emotional scene, and we got to see a really, really big character range from you, and it was really, really awesome.
Well, you were already covered, Colton, so I'm going to cover Amell again. Well, Stephen's, I have to, because, I mean, you were already covered, and Stephen's the star, so I'm going to cover him twice.
Well, I think you got to do Paul.
I have to do Colton?
Paul.
I have to do Paul. I have to go back over to
Oh, yeah.
It was a party. Paul's best, right? But I thought Paul's best, and that's actually pretty easy. It's so much good work that Paul does, obviously, but there was a great scene where he thinks he has an opportunity to be with his wife again, and he doesn't. You guys know the scene I'm talking about? And he's right there. You see it on his face, like, oh, I can really be with you again. And she's like, no, boo boo. I have a new man. And he's like, oh wow. And you see it all on his face. His heart just breaks on screen, and it's fantastic work.
I'd lean on your shoulder now if I could.
That's my link to you, okay? That's my link.
By the way, I think most of the people on this panel,
Now we do it this way.
the episode where Moira died this season, I think just about everybody on this panel did some of their finest work, including Susanna Thompson, who is... The only reason she is no longer with us is because we felt like that was Moira's time and for her to make that sacrifice for her children. But I think that episode was a standout for everybody.
I loved doing the scenes that because Malcolm obviously did a lot, as did Ollie with Susanna, and she was a wonderful lady, wonderful actress, and a huge part to the Arrow teams.
Yeah, we miss her big time.
I miss my mommy.
We're gonna go to audience questions. So you guys want to line up? I just have one last question for the producers before we go to them. I know it's super early, but have you started to like spitball ideas on how do you top the undertaking and the finale battle that we just saw this season? Like, how do you? Are you gonna blow up the world?
Who would save that? Yeah, we have some ideas.
Vague.
Alright, let's go.
There. Hi. My name is Marcus. I'm from Arizona. This is my first Comic-Con. First of all, I just want to say, this whole thing is about superheroes. I'm standing in front of Harkness, Arrow, Dresden. This is incredible. But besides those roles, already been pre-mentioned, Flash or Constantine, who are superheroes you'd like to see get their own shows or appear on yours?
We're Wonder Woman. That's great.
That'd be a good one.
We've actually been really blessed. DC Comics has been so supportive of us. Jeff Johns is a partner with us on The Flash. And you know, we've gotten, you know, adding Katana this year, you know, Robbie Amell, who some of you might remember as Stephen's cousin, and the Star of the Tomorrow People, is playing Firestorm on The Flash. So, you know, we've really gotten to bring on the kinds of people that we've wanted to bring on. We haven't, you know, we haven't made too many asks that we have not received. So I think all of us are pretty happy with the characters that we're getting.
All right.
Woo!
Thanks, man.
Thanks. What's up?
Hi.
This is for Stephen. If it's not too much, I'd like you to repeat the intro for Arrow. You know, like you say, repeating stuff. And by the way, Roy and Speedy, you're a perfect couple, and you played the best villain ever.
Okay. My name is Oliver Queen. For 5 years, I was stranded on an island with only one goal: survive. Now I will return to Starling City to fulfill my father's dying wish and use the list of names he left me to bring down those who are poisoning my city. But to do this, I can't be the killer. To honor my friend's memory, I must be someone else. I must be, in the second season it was Friends.
Oh, okay.
I must be something else. Previously on Arrow.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm a big fan of the show, and my question is, if you were stranded on the island, who would you choose, actor or actress, to be with you?
Let's just go down the line.
Oh, me, of course.
I would choose I'll choose Stephen.
I was gonna say Diggle too. Purely for survival.
Oh yeah, purely for survival. I'm sorry.
Not so straight arrow.
I would choose. Who would I choose? I'd probably choose Theo.
Wait, so we're choosing people from the cast?
I'm from the character.
Apparently we are.
I'm not, sorry.
Like choosing Liza.
Who?
Liza.
Liza Minnelli? No. I mean, come on. No, I would be on the island because I really like him as a person, and I also like him as an actor. James McAvoy. Yeah. And if it was a girl, no. Only to cook for us. I am Malcolm Merlyn, remember.
That was my turn? If we're going on the theme of the show, I would definitely pick pure entertainment of John Barrowman next to me. And also, I would need a papa to preach at me.
You'd be cooking.
But you know what? You wouldn't like it, damn it.
I would. Because she'd poison me and I'd be so proud.
So true. That's Papa Barrowman.
Did you do yours? Okay, so
Obviously you weren't listening.
I wasn't.
Like my scenes, you were fast forwarding.
All I know is the one person I would not want to be on an island with is John Barrowman. Could you imagine? I love him too much. I think Nissa Al Ghul looks like a very practical woman. I think I'd go with her. She can love her. That's what I'm saying. She looks practical. Looks like she could, work her way around an island.
Great question. Great question. Gonna cause lots of fights.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is nice.
Go ahead.
So this question is for Stephen. Since you shoot an arrow, can you really shoot it that well, or is that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really good. And people ask me the question all the time. They're like, "Who would win a contest between Katniss and Hawk?" Of course, I would win.
Patricia is the woman that helps Stephen with his archery skills.
Right. Yeah.
Seems to do a reasonable job. I asked her a question one night. We were looking at him over in the corner. He's holding this thing, all the rest of it, looking like he knows what he's doing. And I said to Patricia, I was like, can he really do this stuff? And she went, this guy can run up to a wall, run up the wall, shoot the arrow, and still hit the target. So I think that's the answer to your question. He knows what he's doing.
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Nice hat.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great hat, actually.
Oak Queen on the back, number 3.
Woo!
My question was for Emily, but since she's not here, I guess it's for Andrew and Mark. It's since we never really hit on her backstory, and the only thing she's ever really said about her dad is that he wasn't around. What are your theories about Ivo being her father and that rumor going around?
Ivo is not her father. We know her. Quash a rumor. We've actually known Felicity's backstory for a long time, again, like some of the other things we've done. When you look back at stories, even from season 1, there are clues there. But one of the early episodes this season, the flashbacks are going to be to Felicity and her time at MIT.
Thank you.
And the title of the episode is Oracle. So there.
You know what I love? I love because I know you guys are fans and everything, and the whole genre, but I love when you say those things, the smiles. It is so wonderful. And that's what's wonderful about being a show where everybody really is into what's going on. It's amazing.
We never, in our wildest imaginings, thought that we would bring in so many different characters and bits of comic book lore, and we never thought. We were always pitching ourselves and going, how did this happen? I mean, we always thought, we'll have the show, and the show will be the show, and it'll be good. We never thought we would have, Arsenal, and Huntress, and Deathstroke, and, Canary. We never thought we would get to do all these things.
Awesome.
We're so excited.
So I have to ask Greg, when you guys get together to talk about where the show is going, are you guys just like a bunch of kids?
Yeah, I mean, we are. One thing I want to take this opportunity to do, though, is thank everybody here tremendously. I think it's really a fan-driven show, and we're so appreciative, and so any opportunity we can. As excited as we are about what we do, we're just as excited by everyone's response. and everything you guys do, and Twitter and Facebook and the conversation that happens, we take really seriously. So keep it going, and thank you for all your input. It has informed some of the choices we've made on the show.
Excellent. All right, well listen, I want to thank our incredible... Something?
Thank you, Comic-Con.
What? Oh, thank you. King of Comic-Con. Arrow for Justice. All right, before this gets crazy, I'm going to thank our panel. You guys give us...
so very much. We please ask that you do not come down toward the stage. Please do not rush the stage. If you are planning on exiting, please use the doors to your left. We hope you've enjoyed your time here in Ballroom 20. We still have one more big event.